We are joined today by
Romano.
Hey everybody, J.R. Romano here, Connecticut Republican Party. Thank you again for tuning in. Lots going on, I think, on the federal and national scene, as well as we have some drama here locally in regards to tolls. So I think first and foremost, I just want to remind everyone we have a special election coming up. If you have not had time to volunteer, please contact our office, 860-426-1920. We need people to make phone calls and do door knocking. We have 3 special elections that are coming up, which could impact whether or not the state of Connecticut votes on tolls and has tolls in the upcoming year. Now, I'm going to get on the toll issue a little bit later, but first and foremost, I want to talk a little bit about obviously this strike that has happened in Iran and the rising tensions between our two countries. And what I find so disturbing about the behavior, particularly of Chris Murphy, is that Chris Murphy is almost in a weird way, I shouldn't say weird way, in a direct way, he's kind of saying the United States should stay the course, that the United States should continue to try to negotiate peace with Iran, in the same breath take the abuse that Iran has given us through their proxy wars, through the terrorist organizations that have been run by Soleimani, this general. And it's kind of bizarre to me to simply say it's almost like an abusive relationship where we're going to say all the right things, we're going to give them billions of dollars in cash in the middle of the night, we're going to completely codify Iran. Meanwhile, one of the top Iranian generals is running terrorist operations for the Iranian government through proxy organizations. It is completely ridiculous to think that we should have stayed that course. Obviously, what Trump has done is simply said we are having a course correction, a course change for this nation. And I think the other irony here is that, Chris Murphy has exposed himself to being someone who he cannot be consistent. One breath he said America was weak. The next breath, he said our reaction was too strong. It's just, it is sad to see so many on the left so fearful of a strong nation. Within the last 10 months, I think the Iranians have taken down a drone. They blew up oil refineries in Saudi Arabia. They had killed American soldiers, and that's just in the last few months. Never mind the hundreds of other American service members who've lost their lives, those that have been injured and maimed by this man. But no, the Democrats want you to ignore all those atrocities because what they're claiming is it could get worse. Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but I have to tell you that I'm completely fine with the United States demonstrating force and strength in the face of evil. Now, what I've just described is the abuses that he's poured upon the American people and American servicemen. We're not even talking about the hundreds of thousands of people within the region who this man has imprisoned, murdered, maimed, property destruction. I mean, you have Iraqis right now burning Iranian assets, lighting them on fire in Iraq. I mean, that in itself should tell you everything that we need to know about the people in the region. Now, again, of course, those on the left are not understanding. It's kind of like being surprised that Fidel Castro won all of his elections by 100% margin. These Iranian citizens are being forced to do things out of fear. And frankly, I think the demonstration of strength by this president, that he will not back down in the face of terror. He will not back down in the face of tyranny. I support and I understand why people have some anxiety of looking what the future may hold. But what I know about President Trump is he will be someone who will take divisive action and what is in the best of the American people, and I'm completely okay with that. Now, in a similar vein, I irked our fair Congresswoman Jahana Hayes with a comment that I had made in an article. Because there's several candidates running against Jahana. Now, obviously, we're going to have her primary. But Jahana was irked at the fact that I called her particular brand of representation, factually described it as representing the most extreme wing of the Democratic Party. And that, she stands with the squad, who have said some outrageous comments. She seeks their support. She stands by them. And she didn't like the fact that I called her out for her extreme views. She didn't like the fact that I called her out for her silence on local issues. In fact, the funniest part about it was one of the things that I'd highlighted is that the Connecticut Democratic Party, the party that she helped funds, the party that she stands by and helps win elections, she's gone out and endorsed local Democrats. She's done all this work for the Democratic Party that has given the hardworking people, the hardworking families of this state, higher taxes, higher tolls. So I called her out for her silence and complicity in what Democrats have done in Hartford. And her response was that somehow I am unfamiliar with the fact that she serves in Congress, not in Hartford. Now, Congresswoman, I'm going to make this charge directly at you. Yes, I fully am aware you are a Congresswoman and do not serve in the Connecticut General Assembly. However, I am calling you out for the fact that you have been silent on tolls, on higher taxes, on everything that the Democratic Party has pushed upon this state to make it a failing state. And the justification that you somehow think is okay is like, well, I serve in Congress. That isn't enough. A true leader would stand up to her own party for the damage that they're doing to the state. You cannot deny the fact that things are more expensive. We're ranked in the bottom percentile in every business category, in growth, in everything. And yet your position is not my problem. I don't serve in Hartford. That isn't leadership. That is not leadership. And I'm shocked at how this mentality of not my problem is now everyone's problem. Because the Democrats, once again, they're leading into session in the next few days where they're going to be talking about tolls. They're going to be talking about budget deficits. They're going to be talking about how we're losing business. And yet we have our federal delegation with their heads in the sand, don't want to talk about it, don't want to acknowledge the fact that Connecticut's a failure because of the Democratic Party. But the good news is we have an opportunity to maybe stop tolls. We have 3 special elections. I've mentioned them at the top of the podcast. Please find time in the next few days to volunteer. We have 2 that are the special election date is the 14th, and then another one on the 21st. So please, if you have time, please come out there, make some phone calls, whether it's the weekend leading up to the election, whether it's Monday, whether it's on election day, try to find time to help these 3 candidates who could be the decision whether or not we get tolls or not. And it's super important. I also want to say, I hope everyone had a happy holiday season. Now that we're leading into 2020, it's a great opportunity. We have we have legislative races up in 2020. We have congressional races up in 2020. If you are tired of what's happened in the state, if you are looking at your paycheck and you say, I can't afford to live here anymore, but I also can't afford to leave, now is the time to get involved. Don't wait till the summer. We have programs here where we're doing phone banking. We're looking for volunteers to do petition drives. There's a tremendous amount of opportunity to change and shape this state for the better. So please get involved with your local RTCs. Please get involved with the state party. Please get involved with campaigns, because without your energy and efforts and treasure, we cannot save this state. This is J.R. Romano with the Connecticut Republican Party. Thanks for tuning in. And again, share and subscribe. Thanks.